Yeah. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Shodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanacha Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Anandakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Jai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 7, Text 20. And I'm sure you must have been disappointed because today His Grace Sri Kishore Prabhu supposed to be giving his class, but somehow he has some other engagement, so he requested me to swap his class. So we will start with Chakram cha Dikshwahitam Dashaswatejo Manvantareshu Manuvam Sadaro Bhibhati Dushteshu Rajashu Daman Vyadadhat Swakirtim Satye Tripasta Usatim Pratyamscharitrae. चक्रं शतिक्ष्व हितं दशौश्वतेजो मन्वन्तरेषु मनुवंशधरो बिभर्ति दृष्टेषु राजसु दमन् व्यदधात् स्वकीर्तिं सत्ये त्रिपृष्टा उसतिं प्रत्यंश्चरित्रै चक्रं शतिक्ष्वाहितं दशस्वतेजो मन्वन्तरेषु मनु वंशधरो बिभर्ति दुष्टेषु राजसु दमं व्यदधात् स्वकीर्तिं सत्ये त्रिपृष्टा उसतिं प्रत्यंश्चरित्रै Synonyms: Chakram, the Sudarshana wheel of the Lord. Cha, as well as Dikshu, in all directions. Avihatam, without being deterred. Dashashu, 10 sides. Swatejaha, personal strength. Manvantareshu, in different incarnations of Manu. Manu Vamshadhara, as the descendant of Manu Dynasty. Bhibarti, rules over. Dusteshu, unto the miscreants. Rajasu, upon the kings of that type. Daman, subjection. Vya the dhat, performed. Swakirtim, personal glories. Satye, in the Satya Loka planet. Three Priste, the three planetary systems. Usatim, glorious. Pratyan, established. Charitrai, characteristics. Translation and purport. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. As the incarnation of Manu, the Lord became the descendant of the Manu dynasty and ruled over the miscreant kingly order, subduing them by his powerful wheel weapon. Undeterred in all circumstances, his rule was characterized by his glorious fame, which spread over the three lokas and above them to the planetary system of Satyaloka, the topmost in the universe. Purport. Prabhupada is saying, we have already discussed the incarnations of Manu in the first canto. In one day of Brahma, there are 14 Manus, changing one after another. In that way, there are 420 Manus in a month of Brahma and 5040 Manus in 1 year of Brahma. Brahma lives for 100 years according to his calculation, and as such, there are 504,000 Manus in the jurisdiction of one Brahma. There are innumerable Brahmas, and all of them live only during one breathing period of Mahavishnu. So, we can just imagine how the incarnations of the Supreme Lord work all over the material worlds, which comprehend only 1/4 of the total energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Manvantara incarnation chastises all the miscreant rulers of different planets with as much power as that of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who punishes the miscreants with his wheel weapon. The Manvantara incarnations disseminate the transcendental glories of the Lord. So before moving ahead, we'll take blessings from the our teachers. Om Agnana Timirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharini Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Hare Krishna devotees, thank you very much for joining. I'm sure you are all disappointed because Sri Kushar Prabhu is supposed to give his class today, but somehow he was not able to join, so he requested me. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 7, Text 20. And in this section of this chapter, Lord Brahma is describing to Lord Narada about the different incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's somehow something like which repeats the theme of chapter 15, chapter 3 of first canto, where the Sutta Goswami is describing different incarnations of the Lord. So today's incarnation is about the Manu, and Prabhupada translates this text as the incarnation of Manu, the Lord became the descendant of Manu dynasty and rule over the miscreant kingly order, subduing them by his powerful wheel weapon. Undeterred in all circumstances, his rule was characterized by his glorious fame, which spread over the three lokas and above them to the planetary system of Satyaloka, the topmost in the universe. If you see from the translation itself, Prabhupada, the text talks about the Manvantara incarnation. So the way I understood is there are different the Lord's incarnations of innumerable. In fact, it is described as many as rivulets in the ocean. That means unlimited number of incarnations. But for our understanding, Acharyas classified them as in different categories. So one of the most popular categories, I think, Leela Avataras, where Lord come here to perform the Leelas, right? And those are described in those Leela Avataras. And then another one is Shakti Avesh Avatar, right? where certain personalities will be empowered with large potency. And for the creation, uh, I'm forgetting the name exactly. It's Purusha Avataras. Yeah, Purusha Avataras. For the creation of the material world, the Lord takes those forms like Mahavishnu, Vishnu, Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, and Kshirodakashaya Vishnu forms. And similarly, another category of incarnations is Manvantara Avataras. And Prabhupada describes here different, gives the timeline of how time works in Lord Krishna's Mahavishnu's creation. So, and it actually gives me a feeling of wonder and awe, because Prabhupada says that in one breath of Mahavishnu, so the Brahma takes birth and dies as well, right? And in that birth of Lord Brahma, he lives for 100 years. And there are many Brahmas in his birth, because there are many universes get created and destroyed. And of all these Brahmas, they live their respective 100 years. And we can imagine one day of Brahma of that big 100 years, one day is a smaller snap. In that one day, there are 14 Manus. That one day of Brahma is divided into 14 Manus, right? And so Prabhupada calculates forward, saying that, okay, if a month of Brahma is 30 days, so 13 times 14 is 420. And for a year, you have to multiply with 12 again, so which comes out to be 5040 Manus. And for his 100 years of the life, so multiply that with 100, so it becomes 504,000 Manus. Right? So, so in one life of day of Brahma, there are 504,000 Manus take birth. They reign the rule, basically. They rule the mankind. Right? So out of this, in each Manu's reign, it looks like Lord appears either as Manu or as one of his descendants in the dynasty of the Manu, right? And it looks like Prabhupada comments in first canto. So, in currently we are in this Manu of Vaivashvata Manu, and it looks like Vaivashvata Manu is the Lord himself. He is the incarnation of the Lord himself. So that way we can take this verse is referring to this particular Manu. But uh, we can say that it's applicable for any Manvantara avatars as well. It's not just specific to one, this Manu, Vaivashvata Manu. Yeah. And this in the last paragraph of this purport, Prabhupada says that the Manvantara incarnation chastises all the miscreant rulers of different planets with as much power as that of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who punishes the miscreant with his wheel weapon. I'm not sure exactly where this pastime has described, where Manu chastises different miscreants with his wheel weapon. But yeah, Prabhupada mentions here and verse talks about it, so it must be true. And the Manvantara incarnations disseminate the transcendental glories of the Lord. This is also explained in the text itself. The text says, undeterred in all circumstances, his rule was characterized by his glorious fame, which spread over the three lokas. and above them is the planetary system of Satyaloka. So the glory of the Manu has spread until all the three lokas, as well as the until the Satyaloka, the topmost in the universe. Right? And I just want to discuss because there's not much available to discuss in the purport or in the translation. I just referring to wherever Manu has been mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, few locations I will uh, try to discuss. Then we can conclude the reading. So, as I said before, Canto 1, Chapter 3, Text 15. We will read that, I think. Yeah. The translation goes like this. When there was a complete inundation after the period of Chakshusha Manu, and the whole world was deep within water, the Lord accepted the form of a fish and protected Vaivashvata Manu, keeping him up on the boat. So, this is talking about the current Manu, Manu number 7, Vaivashvata Manu. And the previous Manu's name is Chakshusha Manu, who is number 6, right? And during the transition, there is a intermediate inundation of the universe. So to protect and to disseminate the knowledge, Lord Matsya takes birth, right? So that's what it's talking about in this translation here. So and I will read the purport. It's also a short purport. According to Sridhara Swami, the original commentator on the Bhagavatam, there is not always a devastation after the change of every Manu. And yet, this inundation of the period of Chakshusha Manu took place in order to show some wonders to Satyavrata. But Sri Jiva Goswami had given a definite proofs from the authoritative scriptures like Vishnu Dharmottara, Markandeya Purana, Harivamsa, etc., that there is always a devastation after the end of each and every Manu. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti has also supported Srila Jiva Goswami, and he, Sri Chakravarti, has also quoted from Bhagavatamrita about this inundation after each Manu. Apart from this, the Lord, in order to show special favor to Satyavrata, a devotee of the Lord, in this particular period incarnated himself. Okay. So here many avatars actually mentioned. In a way, Matsya is definitely mentioned. And Satyavrata, in his next life, he becomes, I think, Vaivashvata Manu to rule the mankind, right? And as the number, it's the actually right in the middle of the day of Brahma, because in a day of Brahma there are 17 Manus. So Vaivashvata Manu is the 7th Manu, right? And this is the Manu specifically the Lord Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita in chapter 4, right, of Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna mentions that I spoke this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to the sun god Vivaswan, right? So, and then from Vivaswan, it came down. So the Vivaswan itself is, I think, my understanding is the same. Vivaswan is our Manu. If I'm my understanding is correct, you can correct me later. Then again, Vivaswan spoke this to Ikshwaku. Ikshwaku then spoke down like that. The knowledge has propagated down in the disciplic succession of kingly reign. Right. So we can understand how long our great history is, how this knowledge of devotional service as well as in general Vedic literatures is coming down and passed down to us in a very careful manner. So that's one mention of Manvantara Avatara and Manu in specific. And other places where Manu is mentioned is Swayambhu Manu somehow appears many times, particularly in Canto 3 and Canto 4 again and again he comes. So Lord Brahma, as I said, out of 14 Manus, right? The first Manu of this current day is Swayambhu Manu. And so he has been referred in Canto 3 to begin with. He takes birth from the body of Lord Brahma himself, because Lord Brahma has many children in the beginning, but none of them really were doing the job what he was intended to, because most of them were becoming sages or next thing brahmacharis like Lord Kumaras. They were not doing the proper filling the universe with the praja. So finally, Lord Brahma gives birth to Swayambhu Manu and Shatrupa together, right, from his body. And it appears that Swayambhu Manu is very obedient to his father, and he takes the charge of creating Praja. Right, he is the first Manu, like Vaivasthata Manu is seventh, so Swayambhu Manu is the first in this day of Brahma. And day of Brahma is also called the Kalpa, I think. And there are few stories where Swayambhu Manu comes. One of the story is Kardama Muni's story. Kardama Muni is also a son of Lord Brahma, and Swayambhu Manu and Shatrupa gave birth to Mother Devahuti. Actually, three daughters, but one of the daughters is Mother Devahuti. And there is a marriage happens between Kardama Muni and Mother Devahuti, and it's a big pastime where Kardama Muni desires to have a marriage and wife. So he performs 10,000 years of austerity and to please the Lord Vishnu, and Lord Vishnu appears and he actually says, even without Kardama Muni asking, that I know your desire to marry, and I have arranged a perfect wife for you, and the story goes like Swayambhu Manu and Shatrupa will come here and offer their daughter to you. So like that the story goes, and they get married, and Kardama Muni again has 9 daughters, and obviously you all know about Lord Kapila, son of Mother Devahuti and Kardama. So that's one story where Swayambhu Manu comes very vividly. And another story is in the story of Dhruva Maharaj in Canto 4, where Dhruva Maharaj, after gaining the kingdom and going back, he was the king, now he's ruling for a long time. Then Yakshas kill his brother, younger brother. So because of that incident, Dhruva Maharaj becomes really angry, and he starts killing the Yaksha dynasty. So even though only one Yaksha killed, but Dhruva Maharaj started taking revenge on the entire Yaksha dynasty. So, but then uh, Lord, Swayambhu Manu comes there to convince, because if you see, Swayambhu Manu is his grandfather, right? Because Dhruva Maharaj's father was Uttanapada, and Uttanapada's father was Swayambhu Manu. So his grandfather comes to convince Dhruva Maharaj that it's not befitting for his stature as a devotee to take the revenge on the entire dynasty just for killing his brother. So somehow Dhruv Maharaj gets convinced by his speech. So that shows the devotee quality of Dhruv Maharaj also, because he listens to his superiors. So that's where another time when Swayambhu Manu comes, but it doesn't specifically mention Swayambhu Manu is Manvantara Avatara. I'm not sure, but current Manu, Vaivashvata Manu is mentioned as Manvantara Avatara, but there are no, as far as I know, there are no specific pastimes except where the Bhagavad Gita once mentions about the Vaivashvata Manu. Lord speaks to Vivashwan, right? So that's very clear, and it's also mentions in the today's verse that how uh, Vaivashvata Manu is responsible for keeping the last sentence in the purport. The Manvantara incarnations disseminate the transcendental glories of the Lord. Right? This is what I'm understanding here. Disseminating the transcendental glories. Dissemination means propagating the knowledge in the disciplic succession. So, which we know very clearly from Bhagavad Gita that how Vivashwan is very instrumental in this regards to propagate the knowledge in general, as very specific about the transcendental glories of the Lord means maybe we can consider Bhagavatam as well, right? So uh, I think I would like to conclude now. So in the today's verse, we are discussing as part of this section where Lord Brahma is discussing different avatars of the Lord to Narada Muni. Manvantara avatars, specifically the avatar of the Manu. And in this verse itself, it talks about the Manu became descendant, the Lord became descendant of Manu dynasty and ruled over the miscreant kingly order, subduing them by his powerful wheel weapon. I am not sure specific uh, incidents were mentioned. I heard regarding this where Manu uses wheel weapon. I am not sure, but certainly the second part. Undeterred in all circumstances, his rule was characterized by his glorious fame, which spread over the three lokas and above them to the planetary system of Satyaloka, the topmost universe. And Prabhupada mentions about the how big the timeline wise, how big the Lord's creation is, mentioning that in one uh, life of Brahma there are 504,000 Manus, and also Prabhupada mentions the Manu's incarnation is very incidental, particularly Vaishvata Manu is very incidental in propagating the knowledge of Vedic knowledge in disciplic succession. So I will conclude there. Please, any devotees, any of your comments and any corrections or any further elaborations, please go ahead. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances. How close to Srila Prabhupada? Vamsidhari Das here, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances. Our glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. So certainly, like this verse is a little bit intriguing to explore more on the Manvantara. Manvantara is not very explicitly mentioned everywhere, but we do hear here and there that the cabinet belongs to Manu. Even the Devatas report to Manu. So, Manu formed the ruling cabinet in every day in this during their reign. So I just want to say that it just provoked a little bit attention, to really explore more. Um, uh, because this is also mentioned in this chapter, like in the incarnations list also.
Yeah.
There's specific verse for this incarnation. So yeah, that's what I want to express, Prabhu. Just saying that there is something we need to find it out.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to find classes. I could not find any class actually. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think even in the 10 topics of Bhagavatam, even it's mentioned even in the 10 topics of Bhagavatam also.
Yes.
In that 10 chapter, right? 10 chapter. 10 chapter. 10 chapter. Atra Sarga Visarga Sthanam Poshnavatam Manvantara. Even it's one of the topic in 10 topics of Bhagavatam also.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's like the topic of the time.
Yes. Yeah.
The topic of the time is prominent, important, but it's mentioned very subtly and explained in a little extent like that. I mean, there is a lot of extent on the Manvantaras, because like whole 9 canto is all about the descendants, and also 3rd canto.
Yes.
That is the descendants of Manu and so on. So yeah, yes, Prabhu.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Specifically, I was exploring. I just one point which made more clear is Manvantara avatars doesn't have to be Manu, but in the duration of the Manu, it could be any descendant of the Manu as well. So that's one specific point. But I don't know, like in previous Manu's reign, who is the Manvantara avatara. So in current Manu, probably our Vaivasvata Manu itself is the Lord's incarnation. So that is clear. So yeah, because we know that in Yuga avatars, right? So in each Yuga, we know what Yuga avatara is. So similarly, I was just trying to explore in each Manvantaras, like 14 Manus, right? Who is the Manvantara avatara for that during that period? So I could not find much. So I'm explaining.
Yeah.
But at least I found that there is a distinction like that.
Yes, bro. So I have one other appreciation. I was appreciating Bhagavatam for its sweetness. I may skip this verse, like one more verse like that.
Yes.
But finding it today with your reading, it's profound. And it's Bhagavatam is really Krishna, and every inch is sweet. That's one other appreciation for today's context, bro. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Haribol, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So any other devotee would like to comment and discuss further? I'm sure everyone is excited to go to Radha Yatra. Right, today is Chicago Radha Yatra. Okay, then we will conclude here. Thank you very much for joining and giving me this opportunity to read this verse from Bhagavatam. Like Vamsidhari Prabhu said, it's so sweet. Bhagavatam is always sweet. Vanchakalpatarupyasya kripa sindhubhya evacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्णा।